things be right at the same time? What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Clarified Moments, where we hope to bring a level of clarity to your consciousness, to your view, to your perspective, and to your world. So let's get into it. So Kyrie Irving last night showed out. Of course, my boys still won. Boston Celtics, go Boston. But any event, I wanted to talk about something that I feel like people don't touch on a lot. Or if they do, they don't bring a level of clarity to it that needs to be brought to it. So there's no secret. I supported Kyrie, still support him. I mean, I kind of miss him in Boston, the truth be told. But any event, he's in New Jersey. It is what it is. They almost won. They showed out last night. They didn't play their best game, so we in for a fight in this series. But in any event, I supported Kyrie. Still support Kyrie's stance on the jab, the shot, whatever you want to call it.
The point of this season for me was never to just take a stand. It was really to make sure that I'm standing on what I believe in and freedom. Freedom. I don't think that's a word that gets defined enough in our society about the freedom to make choices with your life without someone telling you what the fuck to do. And whether that carries over into nuances of our society that, politicians control, the government controls, or things people that empower, the powers may be, right, that control. I'm standing for freedom. So that's in all facets of my life. And there's nobody that's enslaving me. There's nobody telling me what I'm going to do with my life. And that's just the way I am. And if I get tarnished, in terms of my image, and people try to slander my name continuously because, those aren't things that I forget.
There's no secret I supported him. But in some ways I felt like, and the reason why I supported him was because in some ways I felt like the NBA, they ain't really take a neutral stance when it came to this. Just like I felt like, and still feel like, a lot of employers should have done. They should have took a neutral stance in this situation as far as the jab or the shot is concerned. Especially when we found out that it didn't lower the transmission rate. They were still dug in, still didn't want the man to play, and that's what happened. So they really weren't like interested in they was just really interested in his talent versus this false virtue signaling at the end of the day. They not concerned with his belief system or your belief system. No matter how rooted it is, no matter if it's deeply rooted in your spiritual beliefs, it don't even matter to them. They only concerned with the bottom line, which is the business aspect of it. Even though, like I said, they put out this false virtue signaling that they talk about your safety and all this. But at this point, I think we done arrived at a crossroads, because it's the crossroads is we're at this place where it's about the popular political belief system or the popular belief system, either however you want to call it. So Kyrie's view on the popular political or cultural belief system was that the vaccine shouldn't have kept him out of the game, and I agree. But he didn't get back in the game until that belief system was at odds with the bottom line belief system of business, which is making money. The New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, for those who don't know, nothing changed until that belief system collided with those two entities, with those two groups, with those business models. That's when things change. That's when they say, "Oh no, we gotta reevaluate this," because if Kyrie can't play, then half of the players in the Boston Red Sox can't play. Half of the players, if not all of the players, in the New York Yankees can't play. So you got this big collision of belief systems. You're talking about the popular political and cultural belief system And then you talk about the business model belief system. Now let's fast forward. The average fan being ejected from the arena for vulgar language because it's offensive or rude or worst case scenario dangerous, i.e. that Ron Artest or Metal World Peace, whatever you want to call it, incident that happened back in the day. So again, these token gestures are no more than tokens. Back in the day, they weren't concerned about it. And it escalated. So justifiably so, they should be concerned about it now. But I still feel like it's token. It ain't real. Because if it was real, think about this. If it was real, if it was really real, why would they allow, and I'm talking about the jab right now. Why would they allow regular fans to come in and be a part of the experience and not let Kyrie in that instance come in and play? Because it was a false virtue signal. It wasn't until it collided with the business model to make money, which is what businesses are designed to do. It wasn't until things changed. Now, what are we talking about now? We're talking about Kyrie flipping off a fan and cursing out fans last night.
Because of his choice not to get vaccinated, not playing part-time, now full-time. But when he's been on the court, when he's played, he is one of the most electrifying players in the game. Another outstanding performance.
But again, my position on this, two things can be right at the same time. The world's view is if you don't agree with it on everything, I mean, you got to agree with it on everything, then you're going to be counseled, you're going to be removed, doxxed, ostracized. And how many of us like that ideal? Like seriously, how many of us like the ideal of freedom of thought or freedom to disagree? Because it seems like today half of society, they tripping. They don't even believe in that. They don't like that ideal. They like controlled speech. Now, I agree with Kyrie, and I feel like I said, some of these employers and institutions and politicians, they use their position against people. They use their position against people that didn't or don't agree with them. They use their position to exercise power. And that's witchcraft in my book. That's witchcraft. To use your position of power or influence against someone to make them conform is wicked. And that's what some of these corporations and businesses and institutions are definitely doing. And politicians, for that matter, we know they doing. And so are some of these athletes, which is my point of clarity. Which brings me to this point of clarity. Some of these athletes, like I said, Kyrie decided to flip off and curse out some fans last night. And again, some might say it's justifiable. Some might even say it's right.
It looked like there were a couple times where you gave the fans the finger. I'm curious, was there anything that you thought crossed the line today, and are you the kind of guy that gets motivated by kind of going back and forth with the fans? Do you kind of use that internally as something to fire you up?
Look, I mean, I'm just where I'm from. You know, I'm used to all these antics and people being close nearby. You know, it's nothing new when I come into this building what it's going to be like, but it's the same energy they have for me, and I'm going to have the same energy for them. And it's not every fan. I don't want to attack every fan, every Boston fan, but, you know, when people start yelling pussy and bitch and fuck you and all this stuff, it's but so much you can take as a competitor. And, you know, we're the ones expected to be docile and be humble and take a humble approach. Nah, fuck that. It's the playoffs. This is what it is. You know, I know what to expect in here, and it's the same energy I'm giving back to them. It is what it is. I'm not really focused on it. It's fun. You know what I'm saying? And like, like again, where I'm from, I've dealt with so much. So coming in here, you relish it as a competitor, and this is, I'm gonna keep repeating myself when I say again, but this isn't my first time in TD Garden. So what you guys saw and what you guys think is as entertainment, or the fans think is entertainment, all is fair in competition. So if somebody's gonna call me out of my name, I'm gonna look at them straight in the eye and see if they really about it. Most of the time, they're not.
Kyrie, to that my personal view. This is only my view. This is just my perspective on it. Some of these incidents, some of these incidents, and some of these millionaire athletes, they don't become a little bit too sensitive. They don't develop a sense of entitlement when it comes to that. Like they feel like nobody can't say nothing to them. Now I get it. I'm not saying that the fans have the right to, but hear me out. They feel like they are owed something. They are owed respect. Now I get it. Like I said, nobody want to be talked crazy to. Nobody want to be cursed at. Nobody want to be called or even alluded to being a ninja. The N-word. I know that some kids might be watching the video, and I don't want them to strike my video. I think they strike videos over any and everything now. But I don't think that's always the case when it comes to these fans and what they're saying. Some of this stuff ain't even the slightest bit offensive or should be taken as an offense. Like Kyrie flipped a fan off last night because he said you suck. Like, at what point do we draw the line? Well, at what point is heckling okay? Again, using your position of power and influence. You are the athlete. You are the popular athlete. You might woke up on the wrong side of the bed and don't feel like hearing none of that today. So you get in the arena and somebody say something to you out the way, not the least bit offensive or should be taken to that level of offense where you have to get them thrown from the game, i.e. LeBron. And there it is. Because you say it is, because you said so, the referees believe you, the NBA believes you, or in that situation, we talking about security, because the NBA, I'm talking about the officials, they only going by what the athlete says. But the ones behind the scenes, the league officials, they can't do anything but go back and look at the tape. But by that time, it's too late. The fan already have been ejected. For what? Because he said you suck. Now, I ain't even talking about the ones that go a little further than that. And any fan that ain't got no common sense knowing that these athletes are super sensitive right now, they should know not to say the least bit of anything that's considered racist. But anything is considered racist now. Anything. But again, if you're an athlete and you're bringing legitimate attention to issues in society by saying something, by tweeting it, you know what I mean? By speaking up about it, and they're going to address it, you're going to get some attention, there's going to be a level of legitimacy brought to what you say because of who you are. You being a human being, you being imperfect, just like politicians, institutions, employers that use their level of power and influence the wrong way, who's to say that you can't do that yourself? Who's to say that you can't use that level of power and influence as an athlete to cause somebody harm because they won't conform? They won't not say anything to you. They won't just sit there like a deer in the headlights and just stare at the game. They only thing they're supposed to do in that setting is cheer or boo. Come on, man. We all human, athletes too. We can all get in the flesh. Now, like I said, I think some of this stuff is kind of exaggerated because they want to clap back or get back at the fans. So what's the easiest way to do it? I get them thrown out of the game. Yeah, I know he ain't say nothing really out the way. I know he didn't really say nothing that was too slight, too disrespectful. But he is talking crazy. So with my level of power and influence, I'm going to make them conform. Either they're going to shut up, I'm going to get them thrown out the game. Just like the politicians, just like the institutions, just like the businesses that use that same power and influence throughout this so-called pandemic to make people conform. Just like they tried to do to Kyrie. Can I misuse my power or influence? That's the biggest question. Yes, you can. Everybody can. And like I said, I mean, there have been fans removed from the arena because things that they've said. And again, you mean to tell me that athletes are not subject to manipulative behavior? Can two things be right at the same time? Can fans be some of the most loyal people or loyal fans at the same time be some of the most disloyal and disrespectful people? Of course they can. Can Kyrie be right in one perspective, his position on the jab, and wrong in another, his position on this? Because like I said, I mean, some of these, I'm looking at the video, and some of these folks, I didn't feel like saying anything out the way. I didn't feel like they said anything too disrespectful. There was one person that got the middle finger for saying you suck. Now, how disrespectful is that? You suck. Come on, man. Was his comments over the line? Was his heckling over the line? There's an old ancient proverb that says, unequal weights and unequal measures are both like an abomination to the Lord. So we got to be careful, right? We got to be careful about tolerating double standards because God hates both of them. If we're going to make judgments, let us make them righteously in consistency. Again, if we're going to make judgments, let us make them righteously and consistently. If a fan can be disrespectful, rude, lie, and be mean-spirited, and be super sensitive or obscene, have foul and filthy and petty behavior or language, then so can an athlete. In this moment, even though I like Kyrie, like I said, I think he's right for the stance he took on the vaccine. I feel like he's wrong on this stance or his response to the fans. Some of this stuff, he know. I feel like he know deep down in his heart. Wasn't that disrespectful? It didn't have to go to the level of his response. And he's a grown man. He can do what he want to do. I'm just giving you my point of view. I'm just giving you my perspective. Can two things be right at the same time? Of course they can. Because we all have pros and cons about ourselves. We all have aspects of our character, our personality, our belief systems that can be wrong and right. That can need some adjustment. Just like those institutions, those politicians, or these politicians, they use this pandemic to misuse, abuse, and take advantage of their power and their influence. You trying to tell me that these athletes don't do the same thing in this small setting? Of course they do. I've seen them do it. I've watched the games. I've seen them be manipulative with each other, with calls they know they don't supposed to get. These phantom hits and phantom calls where they falling out and rolling out on the ground or rolling out over the court rather. You would think they got hit with a missile. I'm waiting for him to get up. I'm waiting to see blood. And when he gets the call, he good. He Gucci. Come on, man. Every human being is subject to that. But because it's because it's the human being or the individual we like, we give them a pass. Again, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't have unequal weights and unequal measures. We can't. We got to be careful about tolerating double standards. If we're going to make a judgment, let us make them righteously and consistently. You guys take care. Come in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Am I right about this? Do I have the right perspective on this? Have you guys even considered this? Can an athlete, somebody you like, actually be wrong in his view of things? And when I say somebody you like, it can be your favorite player. It can be a politician. It can be anybody, somebody you like. Because the world says if you like them, or if the popular opinion is that somebody you like, then they can't be wrong. You have to go along to get along. You got to be a part of the common think tank. You got to have zombie-like thought. You got to do what everyone else is doing. And so if everyone else is saying that person is right, then he must be right. I don't agree with that. Two things can be right at the same time. A person can be right on one thing and have a wrong perspective or a wrong view on another. Some people might say that about me in this video. That's fine. That's freedom of thought. That's freedom to have your own opinion or perspective. But if that's the case, then that applies across the board. You can't say, well, this person was the most popular president in history, or this person was the most popular athlete in history, or this person is the most popular whatever. So they can't be wrong about nothing. We all are subject to the flesh. We're subject to being pulled by our flesh to make wrong decisions, to have wrong views and perspectives. That's why you have to be informed. You have to pursue knowledge and understanding. Not just knowledge by itself, but understanding, being able to understand how to apply these things, how to look at these things, how to pull back the layers and see how they apply, how they don't apply. Where's the double standard? Is there a double standard? I believe so in this situation. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Check out Clarified Moments store. Some new merch on the store. Show love. That's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in. You guys take care.